Imagine a massacre so brutal, so world-shattering, that it shaped the legends of Rox D. Xebec, Gall D. Roger, Monkey D. Dragon, and even the mysterious Shanks and Blackbeard. A single island, 100,000 lives, and a story buried so deep that even the world government tried to erase it from history. Welcome to God Valley. Today we're diving into the darkest, most mind-blowing flashback in all of One Piece. A chapter filled with tragedy, revolution, and destiny. We'll unravel the mysteries of the Davy clan, the rise of Dragon, the true nature of the celestial dragons, and the terrifying arrival of the Rox, Roger, and Garp. This is not just a recap. This is the story that redefines everything we thought we knew about the will of D, so grab a seat, Nakama. Because this one is going to be long, emotional, and absolutely wild. The chapter begins with a revelation that shook fans everywhere. For years, we believed the Monkey family and the Nefertari family were the largest carriers of the will of D. Luffy, Garp, Dragon, Vivi, Cobra. These were the names we knew. But now, Oda pulls back the curtain and introduces us to the Davy clan, and suddenly the scope of the D is far, far bigger than we imagined. On one page alone, we see more D carriers than in almost 30 years of One Piece. It's surreal. These aren't just background extras. They're people who share the same fate-driven smiles as Luffy, Roger, and Blackbeard. And yet, every single one of them is doomed. Except, of course, for one survivor, Marshall D. Teach. It's chilling to think about. An entire clan wiped off the face of the earth in one bloody incident. Their will scattered, leaving only Blackbeard to carry their legacy. And as we'll see later, this isn't coincidence. It's destiny, twisted and cruel. One of the most surprising reveals is Blackbeard's mother. And let me tell you, she's not what anyone expected. Instead of a flashy or exotic design, Oda chose something simple, closer to Robin's elegance. But what stands out most is her hair. It looks eerily similar to Rox D. Xebec. That resemblance sparks dark speculation. Were they siblings? Was she his wife? Or more disturbingly, was she brutalized by the world nobles, who might have altered her appearance for their twisted amusement? The thought is horrifying, especially since her bloodied condition shows she was never treated as a prize, the way others were. And then the contrast. Shank's mother, unlike Teach, we don't see her face. We only see her from behind, collapsed on the ground, already dead. Why? Because Shanks was just a baby during God Valley. He would never remember her face, never know her smile. Oda mirrors this perfectly. Blackbeard's trauma comes from knowing his mother, Shanks from never knowing his. Think about that. Two emperors of the sea, two rivals of fate, both marked forever by the loss of their mothers on this cursed island. And perhaps that's why Shanks named his crew the Red Hair Pirates, to carry the one piece of her he could remember, her hair. But the chapter doesn't stop there. In the bottom corner of one panel, we see something that had fans screaming. A member of the Davy clan, massive in size, towering above the rest, is wearing a straw hat, and immediately the theories exploded. Could this be connected to the enormous straw hat stored in Marijoa, the one Emu guards like a sacred relic? We've always thought that straw hat belonged to Joy Boy, but Joy Boy, from what we know, wasn't a giant. So why would his hat be so big? This chapter gives us another possibility. Maybe there were multiple straw hats passed down, each representing a thread of the will of D and Emu's mission, to erase them all. Imagine it. Each time a straw hat surfaces, Emu hunts it down, takes it as a trophy, and locks it away to snuff out the will it carries. First Joy Boy's, then Rock's sword, now this giant's hat. One by one, the symbols of freedom and defiance are collected, hidden, erased. And yet, one hat always escapes, the one that made its way to Luffy. When spoilers for this chapter leaked, fans lost their minds. It was confirmed that the Davy clan were buccaneers, meaning Blackbeard himself was a buccaneer. But when the chapter dropped, we learned the truth. It wasn't fact. It was just a celestial dragon accusing them of being buccaneers. Empty words. And yet it fooled half the fandom. This is Oda's sly reminder: don't trust rumors. Don't take leaks as gospel. In a world built on lies, misinformation is as dangerous as any sword. Now the heart of the chapter. Monkey D. Dragon, 17 years old, emotional, inexperienced, but already burning with anger at injustice. And what he witnesses on God Valley changes him forever. The celestial dragons don't just kill. They play with lives like toys. Saint Summers, in particular, is horrifying. He kicks a child out of a tree, onto a bed of spikes he placed below, just to watch the father sacrifice himself. He calls this love. This isn't just cruelty. It's sadism on a cosmic scale, and Dragon watches it all, powerless. Even the Marines are complicit. They admire Shaki as a prize to be won, ignoring that she's a victim. These aren't the noble, justice-driven soldiers we're used to. These are men turning a blind eye, justifying the unjustifiable. And Dragon can't take it. Let's step back. The scale of this tragedy is almost impossible to comprehend. God Valley had a population of over 100,000 people. By the end, nearly all are dead. We see heartbreaking snapshots, a man pushing his elderly father in a wheelchair, a gun pointed at a baby's head, rabbits running, people screaming, bodies falling. And the worst part, these are just glimpses. The panel we see accounts for only 0.001% of the total slaughter. Multiply it by 10,000 and you get the full picture. This is genocide, plain and simple. And it's here in this sea of blood that Dragon's revolutionary spirit is born. Amid the horror, a spark of hope. A noble raises his gun to kill a group of children. Among them, Kuma, Ginny, Ivankov. History could have ended right there, but Dragon acts. He pulls the trigger first, shooting the noble and saving them. That moment changes everything. Kuma, years later, would call Dragon a hero, never knowing Dragon literally saved his life as a boy. And those children would grow into Luffy's allies, the very people who help him fight for freedom. One act, one decision. And the entire future of the world shifts. And here's the parallel. Dragon was 17 when he first harmed a noble. Luffy was 17 when he punched St. Charlos. Like father, like son. 2 generations of D's standing up to the so-called gods. Modern Dragon is cold, stoic, almost emotionless. But here he's raw, angry, even tearful. What happened? God Valley happened. And countless horrors after. At some point, when you've seen enough death, enough cruelty, you stop reacting. You become stone. That's the Dragon we know today. But here, in this chapter, we see his heart breaking for the first time. And then the storm hits. The Rocks pirates arrive. Their entrance is magnificent. For the first time, we see Rocks himself, leaping into battle with the same dialogue we heard years ago. His crew, Kaido, Big Mom, Whitebeard, follow behind. The villains of old, now positioned almost as heroes, because at this point, anyone who opposes the celestial dragons feels like salvation. But not every Rocks pirate is present. Achoku stays behind on Hachinasu. And that one choice will echo through history, setting him up as the island's future ruler. Their attack gives Dragon the chance he needs. He scoops up baby Shanks and baby Shamrock, fleeing into the chaos. 2 infants whose fates will shake the seas. But even here, tragedy looms. Did Dragon blame himself, years later, for Shamrock's twisted future? Did he wonder if he failed him? Next, the Roger pirates arrive. Their entrance is shorter, less grand, but still brilliant. Roger gives a passionate speech about saving Shaki, only for his crew to trample him in their eagerness. It's funny, it's human, it's One Piece. And it shows us something important. Roger's crew weren't just legends. They were a family, chaotic and loyal, just like the Straw Hats. And then we meet the Knights of God. Forget the Holy Knights. Forget the fan translations. This is their true name, and their presence is terrifying. We see Garling, Summers, and several new faces. A horned woman who might be Gillingham's mother, a massive warrior with fishman-like features, the deer skull figure from earlier chapters, and other mysterious figures whose powers we can only guess. These aren't your typical nobles. Some may not even be human. They were likely recruited, elevated to godhood in exchange for loyalty. And they are monsters. Finally, the moment we've been waiting for. Garp. He arrives with Bogart, and his presence alone stops both Roger and Rocks in their tracks. Think about that. 2 of the strongest men in history in the middle of a battle pause when they sense Garp. That's how much aura he has. That's why he's called the hero of the Marines. But here's the twist. History will remember Garp as the savior of God Valley. Yet the chapter makes it clear, the true hero was Dragon. Garp won the battle. Dragon saved the future. And that's where the chapter ends. On the brink of chaos. The Rocks pirates, the Roger pirates, the Knights of God, Garp, Dragon, Shanks, Blackbeard, everyone is here. Everyone's fate is about to be decided, and from this point forward we step into uncharted waters. No more hints, no more gaps to fill. From here, every page is new, and every revelation will rewrite history. The tragedy of Rocks D. Xebec is closing in. The massacre of God Valley is reaching its climax. And the will of D continues to burn, through blood, through tragedy, through destiny. So what do you think? Was Dragon the real hero of God Valley? Is Blackbeard's mother truly connected to Rocks? And what's the deal with that massive straw hat? Let me know your theories in the comments, because this story is only just beginning. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more One Piece content. And remember, the will of D never dies.